Hey guys, so I got another stick to do a video on. So this bag I actually just purchased from Midway USA. It's the second bag that I've purchased from Midway. Fantastic quality. This is only 30 bucks as well. So this is what I carry it in, basically keep it in and take it to the range. I've got the camera pointing down a little bit, so you should be able to see the bag and everything. So over here, it does say Midway USA. That's their, logo. And then this right here is a pad that has magazine pouches on it. I don't know if you can see that over here. There's two of them. Made for 30 rounders. I have two of these beater mags in here. These are basically mags that I beat up, if you will. Like when I reload, I just kind of beat on them and at the range. And then underneath the pouch, I have an empty magazine that's brand new, and then a loaded magazine that is brand new. So these I have not taken to the range and actually cycled ammo through, just keeping those nice. These are the range mags that I've been using, so I've got 4 30-rounders total. So here it is. Now, first of all, I do want to say I've already upgraded this, already had experience behind it. I've shot about 500 rounds through it. Actually, a little over that, about 600 now. I have heard people say on the internet that these Zastavas, maybe just the rifles or the pistol versions, I don't know, need a break-in period. I always heard about the rifles because it has adjustable gas. People said, Zastava apparently said to put the gas all the way up to the highest setting and shoot like 500 rounds through it or something like that, a couple hundred, to break it in. Now this is the pistol version, doesn't have adjustable gas, and I can tell it is overgassed. But I've had about 500, 600 rounds through it, so it should be broken in by now. I have had a couple problems with the gun, just malfunctions, and I'll get into that later. I think it's just ammo picky is all I think it is. So to start off, the magazines are Zastava made. They are 5.56. This gun is a 5.56. They're plastic, but apparently there's steel reinforcement inside here. They're pretty light, even when they're loaded. Pretty impressive. So a great magazine, in my opinion. I haven't had any problems down to the mag. Fantastic, and they're not expensive at all. 20, 25 bucks, which is just stupid cheap for a 5.56 AK mag. So this is the pistol version. I purchased this on Gunbroker, brand new. I spent about, I think it was about $1,200 after like taxes and everything and shipping. But then I added stuff to it. So I'd say I probably have about $1,500 into the gun so far, and I don't really plan on doing anything else. So I'm just going to start from the back and go to the front on this thing, and we'll talk about the externals. So the pistol brace is an SBA3 adjustable pistol brace. What is it, 5 or 6 position buffer tube, give or take. Most people are just going to shoot this like they would normally, let's be honest. But pistol braces are designed for disabled veterans or disabled people that potentially don't have enough arm strength to hold one of these up, because that is absolutely true. If you don't put your arm in here and you have like weak, arm strength, you're not going to be able to shoot one of these unless you're just hip firing. Like, let's be honest. The only way that you're going to be able to actually aim down the sights is if you put your hand through there, your arm through there, and shoot like that. But for people that aren't disabled, you can shoot it like a normal gun, if you will. The ATF can screw off. They have no justification to say you're repurposing a gun by putting it against your shoulder and firing it like a normal gun. They've already infringed upon our rights by basically banning SBRs. There is a government registry on SBRs, so that is effectively banning it, taking the right away, considering you have to wait months and months on end to get approval and pay $200 tax stamp. It is a clear violation of the Constitution, and these pistol braces are basically a middle finger to those who are going to infringe upon that right. And they're already trying to ban the braces. The pistol grip on here is I think it's Bakelite is what it is, but it is black. It's not like the Bakelite color, but it is plastic of some kind. The receiver on here is a 1.5 millimeter receiver thickness, so it looks almost like an RPK. So supposedly that will help with longevity, and maybe you could use hotter rounds in here. I don't know. It's just supposed to be stronger. It does have some markings on here. Over here it says Zastava Arms USA, Des Plaines Des Plaines, Illinois. So that's where it's imported to. And I think they import these without some of this stuff on here, and then Zastava puts the brace, like the buffer tube system on, and then they put the rail on. So I think it comes with nothing on the back, and then they do the changes, and then they sell it in the US. And that fits the 22R compliant bullcrap that, again, our government overlords have set upon us. So us gun owners have to find a way around that so we can, you know, exercise our rights. And if people don't know, it's basically guns that are imported have to have a certain amount of U.S. parts on them. Yeah. The safety lever does come really, really tight. So I do recommend breaking that in. Not only just moving it, bend it. And I actually did that. So what you do is basically you just pull it out of the receiver, which with your fingers it's kind of hard. You can pinch yourself. But you get a flathead under there and just bend it out. You know, you'll feel it bend, and then now, I could do it a little bit more, but this is like perfect tightness for me in my opinion. As you can see, I already changed the trigger to an ALG full stop. The stock trigger is decent, but I didn't even shoot it with the stock trigger. The ALG is just a must in my opinion. I don't like stock AK triggers. They're just too heavy, and it like pushes my finger back, or back forward. Almost has like, what do they call that? Trigger slap is what they call it. I just feel like most AK's stock triggers have that, just the way they're designed. So this is an ALG. This is the second ALG I've owned. The top cover is hinged like a Krinkov style. So when you push the back cover, it'll open up like that, which is cool. That actually allows for a rail on the front. That is included. It does mount kind of like in between the back sight. And again, it does have the Krinkov style cover, so the sight is back here, because Krinkovs have it back here, whereas normal AKs have it up here. It just pushes the sight radius, so you theoretically get more accuracy out of it, because when your sight is like here to here, yeah, it's just not good. Now, as you can see, I did toss a red dot on here. I did sight the gun in with the iron sights for 100 yards, and I was hitting the steel plate every time. And I had about 400 rounds through the gun with just the iron sights. And I got it pretty set. In fact, I even went out to 200 yards, and there's no drop on the 5.56 at that range. So at 100, 200 still okay. I wanted to make sure the sights work just in case my red dot broke. Needed to ditch it, and I still need to shoot accurately, so I just used my head, common sense. Now, the red dot that I chose is a Bushnell RX100. It was only $100. The Bushnell also makes an RX200 or 250, which is $250. So this is the budget version. It came with the Picatinny mount. I'll just continue up front to the rail. Now, it does say Zastava Arms USA on the rail. It is metal, and it does transfer heat really badly. For instance, if I were to put a 30-round mag in here and dump the mag, just straight up dump it and reload, I better not have to shoot, because it is going to be hot. If I have to, you know, take that 30 out, put another 30 in, and continue shooting, it is going to be too hot to handle after maybe 10 or 15 rounds in the second mag. It gets hot real quick, and that's because it's a piston system. It's all up here, and this is all metal. Now, I did try to alleviate that by using rail covers. I chose the ladder rail covers. In my opinion, they look fantastic. They fit on there great. They've never come off, and it does make it more comfortable because the rail is pretty sharp. It's like actually physically sharp on your fingers. So I basically padded it up. I also cut a little slot here because this is QD compatible. QD slots, 3 of them on each side. So I cut one slot out on the rail covers so I can use my sling. So this is the sling that I use. It is a Magpul MS3 clone. Believe it or not, I got it on friggin' eBay for like 15 shipped, which is heavily reduced in price because I'm pretty sure the Magpul ones are like 50 or 60. So really nice that it's compatible with the sling that I had already had on hand. So yeah, those rail covers. I also have a hand stop. I think it's like, now I forget the name of this hand stop that I have on here. It is metal, CNC aluminum. It's like a Araska, or something like that. It starts with an A. It's I forget exactly how to say it, basically how it's spelled. Fantastic. It was pretty pricey. It was like 30 bucks plus shipping for that just little stub. The front sight here does actually have a white dot on it. So when I flip it up, you can see there's a white dot. It's too small. They should have made that hole bigger, but it's kind of pointless. On the back sight, there's that, and then there's that. So there's also pistol sights on that. But again, they don't line up very well, and rifles just don't do very good with dot sights. They don't glow either. If they were tritium or something, that would be a different story. You know, it'd be nice if they glowed. Now that says 4 and this says 2, but I assure you it literally is the same aperture, and this is not 400 yards or 400 meters. It's just not. And that's not 200. They're the same aperture. One just doesn't have the dots, one does. It's kind of weird. The next thing on here, I did have to put a thread adapter. The muzzle brake that came on this was absolutely obnoxious. They called it the night brake. Stupid loud. Literally with my hearing protection on, just one, over the ears, I literally had my ears ringing. Uncomfortable, so I switched it out. It was like 35 shipped for the actual thread adapter here. And then the flash hider that I tossed on it is a Strike Industries. I believe it's called the Venom is what this one's called. And so it's just a 4-prong, pretty much, just to dissipate the blast. It does a pretty good job, but it's not like, it being a 10-inch barrel, it is a 10-inch barrel, by the way, it's still very loud and pretty blasty on the end, but it's now comfortable to shoot for me and the people around me. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That is all of the features, I guess you could say. Of course, it's just semi-auto, safe and fire, and all the attachments that I put on it to give it some extra flair. And not only that, but make it effective for me and pleasant to shoot. Now, on the internals, other than the trigger, I didn't do anything. You can pull this out. It is a unfinished bolt carrier. It is a unfinished bolt carrier, as you can see there. It's just a typical AK rotating bolt. I do want to show you the red dot a little bit more. So I have it on right now. I think it's got, 10 brightness adjustments. It's not as big. The dot isn't as big as it looks on camera, I promise. But it's got 2 screws that it attaches to. I believe I Loctited those. It hasn't loosened up anyways. It's not like a RMR on a pistol, going directly to the slide, so it's not really vibrating quite as much. I was actually using Serbian-made 223 soft point. That is what I was having the main problems with. I didn't have any feeding problems. Essentially, it was on ejection. The bolt velocity is so fast that it was literally catching the cartridge in between, like the cover here and the bolt, or up front here, basically catching it before it was ejecting. So it wasn't a feeding problem. Maybe it's too overgassed, potentially, is what I was thinking. They did say it needed some break-in. The last time I took it out, I shot 100 rounds and had no malfunctions. And what I was using out of it is this stuff. So this is made in Switzerland. It is essentially NATO spec 62 grain SS109, which is the same thing as M85. It's green tip ammo. This is a 1-in-7 twist, which does better with 62 grain, so that's the reason why I've been running this. This stuff, as you can see there, doesn't have the green tip painted on it, but it is a mild steel core 62 grain. It says that on the website that I purchased them from, and it says SS109 on the box, which is another it's just another way of saying M855. It's just this. It's the same thing essentially. And what I used was Barnaul. We got the 62 grain. This is polymer coated steel case, 62 grain boat tail. This stuff is not going to be imported in the U.S. anymore because of the Russian ammo ban. This other box that I have here is also Bernal 62 grain boat tail. This is just lacquer steel coated. So different coatings, but I've shot, I think it was 60 rounds of the lacquer and 60 rounds, maybe 80 of the Bernal polymer coated through this gun and had no malfunctions. It's a 3.5 pound or 3 pound, one or the other. But as you can see, there's reset is very short and it doesn't like want to kick my finger out like the stock triggers do. So that is pretty much it. I don't believe I have anything else to say about this gun. I highly recommend it. It's definitely well worth the money. You're going to be paying over $1,000 for these guns. No, you're not going to find it for under that. Let me know what you think and enjoy the shooting footage.
But if you're making a real precise shot, make it. You're gonna want that.
I gotta pee anyway.
Okay.